Hi there, welcome to Floating Books. This is going to be Would I Wear These Outfits Again? Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. This video is all about me looking back at old outfits that I used to wear years ago when I first started blogging and that I have commemorated over there and that are still online somehow. So I'm going to be inserting those pictures here and tell you whether there are items in these outfits that I still own and whether that would then be something I would still wear, yes or no, nowadays. I have found through doing these videos that I still wear renditions of the type of outfits that I was showing you in some of these videos, and I haven't done this type of video in a couple of months, so I thought it would be fun to bring it back. Let me tell you a little bit more about these older outfits. So this first sort of set is actually a lookbook that I did. I think this was the first time ever of me like trying to do some sort of lookbook. It was like Christmas outfits and the dress you're seeing me wear here, which has like a glitter top and then this tulle bottom, I used to love. I had this in my wardrobe for I think almost a decade. I only got rid of it a couple of years ago. And the reason for it being is that this was an H&M dress, so it wasn't super well made. And actually around the waistline where the tulle was sewn into the glitter top, it was really scratchy. So it was actually like whenever you would wear this for more than an hour, I would just get a rash across the top of my stomach where the seam was. So it wasn't very comfortable, but it was really cute. And actually in another outfit I will be talking about in a second, I was actually wearing the same thing. So I did wear this dress quite a bit over the years, you could say. With the styling of this outfit, I'm not a huge fan of the big belt. That's something I got rid of. I stopped wearing a lot of belts, I think about a decade ago or so. I used to really love them. I still wear belts occasionally when I really feel the outfit needs it, but very often I will wear a top over my jeans or whatever. So in like the way I now put my outfits together, a belt is just not that visible, and I very often don't need it to hold up my trousers, so it's not very functional. And those really high gray heels, you'll see, I used to love really sky-high heels. That's just not something I'm wearing anymore. I do still wear things that have a heel, but it's more like, I think that by now it's like if it's more than 5 centimeters, I will no longer wear it. But at this time, I was wearing like 10 centimeter, 12 centimeter heels, no biggie. Yeah, that's it from this blog post. I don't really find the rest of the outfits all that interesting. I'm going to be very, very fair here. And then this next blog post I had a lot of fun with. I went to see a art exhibition actually that was about Jean-Paul Gaultier's fashion, and I told my mom, who was with me at the time, I can recreate those outfits with things I actually have in my wardrobe. So I never wore these outfits out. I also remember some of these outfits not being the comfiest because I would never put those items together, but the plaid shirt and the skirt you see here in this first outfit is actually the skirt of the tulle dress you just saw, and I just thought that this was so much fun to put it together. This other outfit that is in this blog post I really adore. It's a little corset top with this lacy skirt, and I had pulled the skirt in a way that it looked like it was actually shorter than it was because this skirt was a lot longer. And then you could really see the lace poking through, and then I would wear it like with the fishnet tights because that was what was showcased by Jean-Paul Gaultier as well. And then with like a denim blouse. I'm pretty sure it was all a little bit more haute couture the way it was styled at the exhibit. I remember a lot of the plaid being like yellow and red. I didn't have that, but I did have blue and like blue and red. Or did I say yellow and red? It was yellow and black. So I just have fun creating these outfits, putting it together, trying a slightly different look. The individual items I really love, but these outfits weren't practical for wear outside the house. The corset top you saw in the second outfit I actually had for quite some time, but it was very, very small. It never fit me right, so that's why I never really got to wear it out, you could say. And I actually think I put together some outfits for like just to have a bit of fun. I can see this is from 2013, so this was 12 years ago. I think I've shown you this high-low skirt before as well. And I was really trying to like pose and do the whole thing. This is very sort of like my Tumblr era kind of thing, but this was a neon pink top. That was a good t-shirt actually. And then I really liked the high-low skirt. It was from Urban Outfitters. I think a high-low skirt like this is actually trending again. I got rid of mine because for me, a high-low skirt is really fun because you can show off a little bit of leg, but at the end of the day, it wasn't very practical because I ride my bike a lot and then the front part of the skirt would just fly up and I would always get stuck with the longer half of the skirt. So it was just not very practical for my day-to-day life. And then the shoes, actually, I do still have. I'm wearing a pair of studded brogues here that I got from Zara in the sale. And yeah, those are still very much with me. So yeah, at the time, I also started doing these like where I would put outfits together with like a certain item, or I would do these little mini series as well. So I tried to put in a little bit more effort. But yeah, this was about my 5 favorite dresses and how I like to style them. A lot of this was very fast fashion heavy. I can tell. It's not that I don't wear fast fashion at all anymore, but you can tell just by looking at these items that they're all fast fashion, I feel. And I think I tried curling my hair, which was unsuccessful. It looks a little poofy. I like to wear my hair a little bit more natural nowadays, so that works out. Do I have another? No, this is the only full length one I have. So this first outfit is actually, I do really still like that dress. It's this baby blue with daisy print dress. I thought it was super cute. I would wear it a lot with mustard accents because actually the little eyes of the daisy had this mustard yellow in them. So I felt it really nicely went together. It did have some pleating down the chest, which I felt wasn't too flattering. And I think the neckline actually makes it very, very sort of cutesy and perhaps a little girly. I was really into these girly dresses back when I was like, yeah, this was when I worked in Amsterdam, I think. So I was wearing a lot of these things. There were like 1 or 2 years when I did that job in Amsterdam where I would only wear dresses. Like every single day to work, I would wear a dress. That was the only thing I would wear. This one was from Forever 21, and I did really enjoy it at the time. Now it would perhaps be a little bit too cutesy. I do still have daisy print items and like floral print items in my wardrobe, but not these ones in particular. Next up is this fun houndstooth print dress. I used to love this dress to pieces. I would wear it loads actually. And it was, I think, one of the first things I ever purchased from ASOS. There were a couple things that were in my wardrobe from ASOS for years. I did end up decluttering it after a while because what this skirt did, you can see me holding the dress, and it really, really flared out if you were to spin around. I used to love that, but because the waistline was so high up, whenever I would spin around in this or like I would move really suddenly, this skirt would fly up until my armpits almost. Like I would be completely exposed from the bottom, which was not a good look. So as I was getting older, I just didn't like that bit anymore. And it was, for some reason, the neck was really, really tight. So my boobs just didn't fit into this anymore as I got older, unfortunately. And then one of my all-time favorite dresses that I sadly became just a little bit too big for. But I do still have something that sort of fits the vibe of this dress in my wardrobe nowadays. I kind of bought a dress, I think actually last year, that I really feel, well, and I have another dress from Zara that sort of is inspired by this print, but this was from Topshop. It was some sort of sub-collection, and I was always struggling with Topshop being cut quite slim, and I have a pretty wide, like I've got boobs, and I'm pretty wide chested, like I've got wide shoulders, and my rib cage is just wide, so even if whatever weight I am, I would always struggle into getting dresses that didn't have any stretch in or anything like that. So this was really, really cute. This fit and flare style, I just adored at the time. I love the way this look. I would nowadays no longer go for the really black tights. I would probably go with something else, and I actually found these heels at the time that were the exact shade of orange as the orange in the dress that I loved. But what really sold this dress to me was the sort of color scheme of it, and also the print. The print was this like paisley print inspired print, but without it being paisley print. And I actually have a dress from Zara that has this like grayish blue with like a red, which is actually much more what I prefer nowadays. And then I have another Joni dress that is like this really nice fall inspired colors that I think really nicely sort of fits the vibe of this dress as well. So yeah, this is very nostalgic, but one day I tried to put it on and there was this rip down the side, so it was unsalvageable. Like really, like the side seam had just completely ripped. The fabric also wasn't the best. It was this really thin polyester, which I have found over time that if you like stretch it out, it just ends up ripping after a while, because the seams are really strong, but then the fabric right next to the seam isn't. So that was a bit of a shame. And then this outfit, like in theory, this sort of dressed up outfit I would still wear. I think I would just style it in a different way. Again, a lot of the dresses I wear nowadays have a longer hem length. These are all above the knee, and it's not that I'm uncomfortable in a dress that is this short, but like really at the time I was really all about showing off my legs. But here I would probably put it with like a sneaker, or maybe like a cute booty or something like that. I would probably do that. Again, with the tights, nowadays I would probably go for a sheer tight, or maybe something with like a fun print. I actually invested in a lot of like fun hosiery a couple of years ago, so I still have those on hand, that if I do wear these kind of things, I do have some mini skirts and stuff that I like to wear in the fall time sometimes. But yeah, I think the burgundy with the black, I like the contrast at the time, and I kind of still do. I like sort of the lace detailing of the dress. I like a lot of things about this, but it's not something I would wear anymore. I just think it's a little bit too cutesy, and I've gotten a little bit more into like wearing things that are just a little bit more edgy, I would say. I like different cuts nowadays as well, and what I also don't love about this is the cream shade. I've mentioned that a lot in these videos. I like, some people think I'm like a soft autumn, but like these off-white sort of creamy shades are just no good for me. Also like dusty rose things and stuff. I love the shade objectively, but when I put it on and it's not contrasted with like a burgundy, I cannot pull off these kind of shades because I'm just so pale, and I kind of disappear if I wear shades like this. Whereas the minute I throw on that burgundy cardigan, I come to life. So that has really taught me, also looking back to these things, that certain colors may look nice on me objectively, but I just like it to be a little bit more poppy and a little bit more oomph, you could say. That's just my preference. We're gonna do one more blog post. I actually think this one also has a couple of things in. Oh yeah, this was a spring outfit blog post I did. This was at the start of 2014, so it's more than a decade ago. And here, again, objectively, there are things I still like, but there are also things that I wouldn't wear anymore. So this first outfit, I actually am going to be selecting the image that also has the details in, because you can actually see the shade a little bit better. But I had to color correct this thing so you could actually see the shades in the way that I would see them, and then I feel it doesn't really go together. In the other pictures I have in this blog post, everything is a little bit too bright, and it just looks very overpowering. This was a coral sweater. I think it was Zara. I'm not entirely sure. A mint green sleeveless top, galaxy leggings. They weren't disco pants, luckily. And then these underground creepers in this mint green suede. Still have the creepers. These were the first time ever that I made a more expensive sort of shoe purchase for myself. That was actually my pair of Doc Martens that I still have, was in the cream dress outfit we just talked about, which I still have as well, but they're looking very beat up. These shoes I wear maybe once a year. And the reason why I say maybe once a year, if that, is because I found out that mint green suede is very difficult to manage in a country where it rains a lot throughout the year. So for me to be able to wear this pair of shoes, the stars need to align, and it needs to be like the right kind of weather, and I need to have the right outfit in mind. But they are still really good. I still really enjoy these, and I do bust them out every once in a while. I actually have a pair of trousers now that I wore today to work that is similar to these Galaxy leggings, but they're like a trouser. So they're like more of like dress pants, you could say, but then it does have like the lilac and the pink and the green and the blue. So it has a very similar color story, but it's more like bouquet florals rather than like galaxy print. This didn't have stars on anything, but this was my take on a galaxy legging at the time. They were very popular back then. Nowadays, though, I wear it with lilac. I have found that out of all the pastels, a lilac is better for me than a coral or a mint green. Coral, not my shade. I used to have it in my wardrobe a lot. I used to really enjoy it. But over time, I have just found that coral is not my best shade. Back in, like, at this time, I was also wearing a lot of coral lipstick. I actually did. We can talk about it. Again, I'll select the one that has the, like, detailing of the rest of the outfit. I would always take these detail pictures. Was so cute back then. So here, objectively, again, the individual items here I would still be wearing, minus the jeggings. Like, these are like the very skinny, stretchy sort of denim that you had back in the day. I do still have a lot of my skinny jeans that I was wearing until a couple of years ago. Apparently they're making a comeback. But jeggings, I don't think I would be very much inclined to be wearing anymore. Was it comfortable? Yeah, kind of, but I have found that mom jeans is about as skinny as I still want to go, but I did keep my skinny jeans in my wardrobe just in case. If it does come back, if I do want to go on and throw on a skinny, I can. White blouse, always a good staple. I wear a lot of like white blouses with just easy to throw on outfits. Nowadays, I probably wouldn't put such a thin knit cardigan. This wasn't even a knit, it was just this, I don't know, I can't even describe it. It was this very sort of thin, sort of woven material. Not my shade. Again, mint green, not my best color. I do still have a couple of mint green items in my life because I do, like some things I've just kept around over the years, but this one really had to go. I think it was H&M, possibly Primark. So it wasn't the best quality, and it just started to fall apart after a couple of years. But a blouse like this, nowadays, I would probably not button it up or like tie it up like I had here. I would wear it with a baggier jeans. The shoes I could still wear because I still have them, the Converse ones that I'm wearing here. But I would probably just let it hang loose and then put like a gilet or a sweater vest over it. That would be the look nowadays. So I've definitely changed this up a little bit, updated it, you could say. Next outfit, I do think this is a pretty cute one. I was obsessed with these oversized sheer mesh almost sort of blouses that American Apparel did at the time. This was the only American Apparel item that really fit me, but it was like this one size fits everyone kind of thing. It was in this beautiful lilac shade. I now have this Monki thing that I still also really enjoy, which is a little bit like boxy, as you can see here in the arm, and it has this really nice sort of baggy fit. It's not as long as this one is. The reason why I no longer have this blouse, even though I love it, is because it got caught on something, and then it had this, it wasn't a rip, but you know how you get a rip in your pantyhoses? Because it also was this like very voile-like material, it had that kind of like, we call it a ladder in Dutch. Is that the word for it in English as well? I don't even know. I've never looked that up, so I don't know what it's called. But you know when your pantyhose has like this like thing in it? That's what happened to it. It was in a very obvious spot, nothing I could fix, so it had to go for that reason. Here I'm accessorizing it with some really gaudy costume jewelry, which I was really into at the time. Currently, I'm always wearing like my silver earrings, and that's the only sort of accessory I'm still really wearing on the daily. And here I'm wearing leggings. These were leggings. They had faux leather accents. This was a whole thing at the time as well. I do have faux leather leggings though, and those I like to wear sometimes with like sweater dresses and stuff in the wintertime, just to keep my legs covered, and then I wear them with really high, like knee-high boots or something like that, so you don't really even see the leggings. But sometimes I like to wear those things, and I'm wearing it with some sort of ballet flat here. Ballet flats are back, and I'm not here for it. They have zero arch support. There's a reason why I love my Dr. Martens and my Vagabond shoes, because they are good quality shoes. If I want to wear this kind of style, I would go with like a Mary Jane style shoe. I feel those give you the look of a ballet flat, but because they have a slight heel, I find them more comfortable. This is just too flat for me nowadays. I can't deal with this. And those were Primark as well, so they were terrible quality. Again with the coral, what's going on here? Very posy here. I'm very sort of finding my Vogue era. Here I was really into, like, again, the accessories, and I think, are these? No, these shoes I no longer have, but I did have those for a long time. I do still have a skirt that fits this idea. It's just longer. I no longer have a short, like mini, like pencil skirt in a leather, but I do have a midi skirt in a leather that I picked up vintage, which is a lovely thing to have. It's this, like, again, this more like edgy style. It has pockets. It was a perfect fit. It was an absolute steal finding it vintage. And again, a coral blouse. It looks a bit more pink here, but it was actually a coral. And I remember, again, not loving it. It had this really small Peter Pan style collar. Very uncomfortable. It was very polyester heavy. Again, a couple of years ago, I did away with a lot of the polyester in my wardrobe, and I've exchanged it for either linen, viscose, or cotton because it's just so much easier to wear. And then I think this is already our last outfit, and this is one of my favorites. This is something minus the heels. I think the heels are the... No, actually, I still have a pair of shoes like it. A heeled Chelsea boot I could still throw on. This kind of this kind of skirt, because it's a skirt with a top, I could still wear. I have a skirt that's very similar, that is a little less structured, and that has buttons down the front. That's from Monki. I actually have that skirt, I think, in 5 different colors because I like it so much. It's this very vintage style sort of thing. This skirt, however, was far too structured, especially around the waistband, and I couldn't breathe. That was the short end of it. I could close it very fine, but I couldn't breathe, so that made it very uncomfortable. And the blouse, I still own. I wear this from time to time still. It's from Urban Outfitters. It's a very dark navy. It's almost black, like depending on how the lights hits it, you can see that it's blue. But it's a very, very deep shade of navy. And then it has really nice little floral print with a little bit of red and white detailing. So a ditzy floral print, but nothing too ditzy. And this still works really well. As I mentioned, this blog post is from 2014, and I still have that item in my wardrobe. Fast fashion can sometimes be something that you can actually keep around for a long time if you take care of things. So yeah, I think we've talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different outfits, an unlucky number, but I will be back with a new video sometime later this winter because I do find these videos really, really fun to have a look back at what I used to wear. And there's a moment in time where I make this switch to where I just take outfits in the mirror of what I'm wearing that day. And here I was really trying to be like this Tumblr lookbook kind of girly, where I was like putting outfits together that I wouldn't always necessarily wear out. But it was also like fun to experiment and just explore my style and see what I was actually into. And I really like seeing this like style revolution happening in front of my eyes, going through all of these different blog posts, and then to see where I'm at right now. I definitely feel like I've gotten a little bit more relaxed, and I'm like, comfort is more of an aim than it was at the time. Like at the time, like I'm looking at some of these items and I'm like, oh, that was uncomfortable, or that was super tight, or that wasn't the best thing ever. And I've definitely settled on better quality materials and more comfort for myself in a lot of ways. So thanks so much for joining me here today, and I hope to see you again really, really soon in a new video. I post here once a week, so I hope you would like to stay tuned and see you back again for more. Bye-bye.